In this video, you will see stories to help you understand what domestic violence is. The following stories are based on true domestic violence events. Details have been changed to protect the privacy of the survivors. Please note, the people signing in this video are just actors. I'm going to tell you a story about something that really happened. Remember, I'm an actor in this story. This did not happen to me. I was married to a hearing man for many, many years. At the beginning, our marriage was very happy. But over time, things started to change. He started to monitor me, like who I visited and who I talked to on the video phone. And he always asked me where I went during the day. He talked badly about my family and made comments like, "Your family is hearing and doesn't understand deaf people." So, after a while, we stopped talking to them and saw them less and less. We also had children together, and all of them are deaf. He would demand that I keep them quiet. If they were noisy while he was watching TV or using the computer, he would become very angry and throw things. He would even throw furniture, dishes, and other hard objects. When the kids would not listen to him, he would grab them and hold them down. He would sometimes kick and punch them. The kids began to tell their teachers what was happening at home. The school called family services, and when they came to the house, my husband said, "Don't open the door or you will lose your children." The police were called to our house many times, always without an interpreter. My husband would stare at me to make sure I would not talk to them. Only he would talk to them and tell the officers that everything was fine. And then they would leave. Once, he hurt my son so badly that we had to take him to the hospital. Of course, there was no interpreter, and the nurses and doctors talked to my husband and not to me. When they asked me, "Is your home safe?" my husband glared at me. That stare told me to be quiet and not to say anything. So I did not tell. He told me I was a bad mother and wife. I felt so ashamed and worthless. As you just saw, domestic violence is more than just physical. In the story, the husband used many ways to gain power and control over his wife. He used intimidation by telling her to stay quiet or the children would be taken away. He used aggressive and angry behavior that made her and the children always feel afraid and worried about what he would do next. He used isolation by keeping her from family and friends. He was controlling. He monitored her VP calls and who she visited. He also used his hearing privilege to control the information given to police and hospital workers, so she could not tell her side of the story. These are all examples of domestic violence. I'm going to tell you another story about something that really happened. Remember, I'm an actor in this story. This did not happen to me. My boyfriend and I went to a party, and he drank a lot. When we got home, he tried to have sex with me. I didn't want to. I said no and pushed him away. But he pushed me down and forced me to have sex. When I said I was leaving, he threatened to hurt himself. He made me feel guilty, and so I stayed. The next morning, he said he was sorry, and it would never happen again. Things were okay for a while, but then his jealousy started to get worse. One night, I went out with my friends. When I got home, my boyfriend was very angry. He repeatedly questioned where I went and demanded I tell him who I was with. He accused me of having an affair. I told him again and again that I did not cheat, but he called me a liar and then choked me. I wanted to tell someone, but I did not think anyone would believe me. Everyone really likes my boyfriend. He has a very good reputation in the deaf community. In this story, the woman experienced domestic violence. She very clearly told her boyfriend no, but he forced her to have sex anyway. He also used physical abuse to control her and make her feel afraid. He also threatened to hurt himself as a way to control her and make her feel bad for him. She did not feel that people would believe her because her boyfriend is so well liked in the deaf community. These are all examples of domestic violence. I'm going to tell you one last story about something that really happened. This shows another form of domestic violence. Remember, I'm an actor in this story. This did not happen to me. I have a partner, and my partner is also deaf. But he has a very clear speaking voice and uses it to communicate with hearing people. I began to depend on him more and more, and he came to all of our appointments. He insults my speech and makes me feel worthless. My spouse makes most of the decisions, including the finances. The bills are all put in his name. The cars are titled to him, and he takes care of the bank accounts too. When we applied for food stamps, my spouse made sure the card was in his name only. If I want to use the card, I have to ask him or go with him. He does not trust me to go shopping alone. I have no control over the finances. I found out that my spouse opened another bank account and transferred our money into a personal account. I cannot take out any money without permission. My spouse always complains that I am not earning enough and blames me for our money problems. I feel worthless. I feel lonely and afraid. I have no family or friends to support me. I don't know how I would survive alone if I decided to leave. This story shows another form of domestic violence: financial abuse. The spouse controlled all of the finances, made all of the decisions, and put everything in his name. He also made his partner feel stupid and worthless by constantly insulting and blaming. This emotional abuse is also domestic violence. Domestic violence is not limited to physical abuse. It can be emotional, like threats, insults, accusations, or blaming. It can include monitoring everything you do and isolating you from family and friends. Domestic violence can also be financial, like controlling your money or forcing you to give the abuser money. It can be sexual abuse, like being forced to have sex or doing sex acts you don't want to do. Domestic violence can happen between a husband and wife, or between a boyfriend and girlfriend. Domestic violence can happen between two men who are in an intimate relationship, or between two women who are in an intimate relationship. Domestic violence is a pattern or cycle of behavior. It happens again and again. Things might start out okay, but then get worse and worse. Maybe you don't even notice right away. Maybe the abuser will deny they are doing anything wrong, or minimize the abuse by saying it is not a big deal. They may even apologize and tell you it won't happen again. Things will get better for a while, but the abuse will start again. It will happen more often, and it will get worse. You may feel alone and ashamed, or afraid to tell someone what is happening. A deaf victim might feel even more cut off. You may ask, "Where can I go? Who can help me? Can I request an interpreter?" Domestic Violence and Child Advocacy Center. We can help. If you are experiencing anything like what you just saw, you are not alone. Help is available. The Domestic Violence and Child Advocacy Center has services that can help any victim of abuse who is deaf or hard of hearing. Interpreters are available upon request, and all services are confidential. To learn more, call the 24-hour Domestic Violence Helpline at any time. We have experience receiving video phone and TTY calls. Or you can contact the Community Center for the Deaf at the Cleveland Hearing and Speech Center for available resources and referral information.